In a peaceful village surrounded by majestic mountains, there lived a kind-hearted man named Noah. He was known for his generosity and willingness to help others. Whether it was helping a neighbor carry heavy boxes during a move, repairing Mr. Anderson's roof after a fierce storm, or sharing part of his modest meal with a struggling family, Noah was always there whenever someone needed him. But despite all his kindness, Noah carried a quiet sadness within him. There were mornings when he woke up with a light heart, smiling at the world and feeling grateful to be alive. But on other days he felt as though he were lost in a thick, dark fog, unable to find meaning or purpose. Why does this happen to me? Noah often wondered. I help others, I do good things, but I still feel empty sometimes. Why is happiness so fleeting? Then one day something extraordinary happened. A wise traveler arrived in the village. He was a mysterious man, famous for his profound words and for helping people find answers to life's toughest questions. When Noah heard about him, he rushed to meet him, his heart heavy with an urgent question. "Wise master," Noah began, his voice trembling slightly, "I try to do good. I help others, like when I helped Mrs. Maria move her belongings or spent hours assisting John with his garden, but I still feel empty at times. Why doesn't happiness last? Why does sadness always return?" The sage looked at Noah with calm, knowing eyes and smiled. "Come with me," he said gently, "and I will show you something that will change your perspective forever." Curious and hopeful, Noah followed the sage up a hill. As they walked, the soft rustling of leaves and the distant chirping of birds seemed to echo their steps. At the top they reached a vast open field where a majestic tree stood tall in the center. Its wide branches stretched toward the sky, offering shade and comfort to anyone who approached. The wind whispered softly through its leaves, carrying a sense of mystery, as if the tree held ancient secrets waiting to be revealed. The sage pointed to the majestic tree and asked, "Do you see this tree, Noah? It appears strong and imposing, but do you think it has never faced storms?" Noah looked at the tree, observing its wide branches and green leaves shimmering under the golden sunlight. He noticed the scars etched into its trunk, deep cracks and twisted knots that seemed to whisper tales of survival. "Of course it has," Noah replied thoughtfully. "It must have faced howling winds that bent its branches, torrential rains that soaked its roots and lightning that split the sky above it." The sage nodded with a calm smile. "Exactly. This tree does not break because it has deep roots, roots that are invisible to the eye but stretch far and firm into the earth. Storms may shake it, they may tear off leaves and snap branches, but they cannot uproot it. Similarly, life will bring storms to you, sadness, challenges, and hardships, but if you have strong roots of wisdom, understanding, and purpose, you will never be uprooted." Noah furrowed his brow, his mind racing as he absorbed the sage's words. "But how can I strengthen my roots?" he asked, his voice trembling with urgency. "How can I find joy even when sadness comes and seems to consume everything?" The sage's eyes softened, and he smiled gently, as if seeing the depth of Noah's struggle. "Let me tell you a story that will help you understand this better. It's the story of a young prince who had everything, wealth, power, and luxury beyond imagination, but still felt an inexplicable emptiness inside him. Let's return to the village and I will share it with you." Back in the village, Noah and the sage sat under the shade of a nearby tree. The sage began to narrate. There was once a young prince named Gabriel who lived in a magnificent palace. He had everything, wealth, power, and luxuries beyond imagination. His walls were adorned with gold, his gardens were filled with vibrant flowers, and his tables overflowed with the finest foods. Yet despite all his fortune, Gabriel often felt an inexplicable emptiness inside him. On silent nights he would sit alone on his balcony, staring at the moon, as if something were missing from his life. One night, a mysterious traveler arrived at the palace. He carried a small, ancient wooden box worn by time and requested an audience with the prince. Curious, Gabriel allowed him entry. "What do you bring in this box?" the prince asked, his curiosity piqued. The traveler replied, "Inside this box lies the answer to your sadness, but beware. Once you open it, you must follow the instructions exactly as they are given." Gabriel opened the box and found a simple candle inside. Confused, he looked at the traveler, who explained, "Take this candle to the darkest room in the palace, light it, and wait for what happens next." Gabriel did exactly as instructed. He took the candle to a hidden chamber in the palace, a room long abandoned and cloaked in mystery. As he stepped inside, the air felt heavy and cold, and an eerie silence enveloped him. When he lit the candle, the room was bathed in a soft golden glow. But then something unexpected happened. The shadows in the room began to move, twisting and forming strange, unsettling shapes. The candlelight cast eerie figures on the walls, as if they were whispering his deepest fears. Gabriel felt a chill run down his spine, and a deep sense of unease took hold of him. He was about to extinguish the candle when he remembered the traveler's warning. "You must follow the instructions exactly as they are given." With his heart pounding, Gabriel gathered his courage and forced himself to watch as the shadows continued their haunting dance. Then, amidst the chaos, he noticed something remarkable, a small, steady light that remained constant, untouched by the swirling darkness. As he focused on it, the fear inside him slowly began to dissolve, replaced by a quiet calm. The next morning, Gabriel rushed to the traveler and asked, "What was that? Why did the shadows move, and what was that small light?" The traveler smiled gently and replied, "The shadows are your fears, your doubts, and your sadness. They grow when you give them attention. But did you see that small light? That is your inner strength. No matter how big the shadows seem, if you focus on that small light, you will never be consumed by darkness." The sage paused, observing Noah absorb the story of Prince Gabriel. Then he continued, "In a distant land, there was a village with a mysterious cave on its outskirts. The cave was feared by everyone. Legends said that those who entered never returned. Many believed it was cursed, filled with darkness and danger. The villagers avoided even looking in its direction, for they claimed that the sound of their own footsteps echoing at the entrance was enough to freeze anyone's heart. One day, a young man named Lucas, who felt lost and purposeless in life, decided to face his fears and enter the cave to uncover the truth. He wanted to understand why everyone was so afraid of it. As he stepped inside, Lucas was immediately enveloped by a profound darkness. The air was heavy, damp, and cold, carrying a sense of unease that made his skin prickle. Whispers echoed around him, faint but persistent, as if invisible voices were trying to discourage him. "You shouldn't be here," they seemed to say. "Turn back while you still can." His heart began to race, and for a moment he hesitated. His legs felt like lead, and doubt crept into his mind. But then a quiet voice within him whispered, "I didn't come this far to give up now." Taking a deep, shaky breath, he pressed on, his hands tracing the cold, rough walls of the cave to guide him. Suddenly he saw a faint glow in the distance, a soft, golden light that seemed almost too good to be true. Driven by curiosity and a flicker of hope, he walked toward it, his footsteps echoing in the silence. As he drew closer, he found an old man sitting beside a golden flame that seemed to pulse with life, as if it were alive. "Who are you? And what is this place?" Lucas asked, his voice trembling with awe. The old man smiled gently and replied, "This cave represents the human mind. The darkness is fear and sadness. Most people turn back when they see the darkness, but those who face their fears find the light of wisdom. You chose to move forward, and now you will see the truth." The old man handed Lucas a small lamp and said, "This flame represents your hope. No matter how dark life becomes, as long as you keep this flame lit, you will always find your way. Even in your darkest moments, remember, the light within you is stronger than any shadow around you." Lucas returned to the village with a new perspective. He shared his experience with the villagers, who, inspired by his courage, began to face their own fears instead of running from them. The cave, once seen as a symbol of terror, became a powerful reminder of overcoming darkness and embracing inner strength. Noah listened intently to the sage's stories, feeling something shift within him. He realized that sadness was not his enemy, but a silent teacher. It was challenging him to find his inner strength, to light his own flame even in the darkest Moments. The sage looked at Noah and said, "Life is like that tree in the open field, Noah. Storms will come just as shadows fill the cave. But if you have strong roots of wisdom and hope, you will never be uprooted. And if you keep your small flame lit, you will always find your way." Noah understood that happiness is not the absence of sadness, but the ability to face it with courage and purpose. From that day on, he began practicing gratitude, helping others, even more, and accepting life's changes with serenity. Slowly he noticed that sadness still visited, but it no longer stayed for long. His heart became lighter, and his mind stronger. So I invite you to reflect. What is your storm? What are the shadows you need to face? Remember, you have a light within you, a strength that can guide you through any darkness. If this story touched your heart, share in the comments below your city or region and a difficult situation you're facing. Your story might inspire others to find their own light. And here's a challenge for you. In the next 24 hours, take one small action that connects you with your inner light. It could be writing down 3 things you're grateful for, helping someone without expecting anything in return, or simply taking a deep breath and reminding yourself that you are stronger than you think. Share in the comments what you chose to do. Let's spread light together. If you enjoyed this message, subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories like this one. Together we can learn to face our fears and transform our challenges into growth. Remember, the darkness may seem frightening, but your light, no matter how small, is always stronger. Keep it lit, move forward, and happiness will always find its way back to you.